in northeast Livingston, but power lines reported down on Highway 43 from a possible tornado there. We've got a lot of spin here. We know there's lots of woods up there, and I believe in my ear, Tanner, you said that we have 1,700 people without power in Tangi?
1,700.
Okay, that's correct.
So these reports are actually kind of verifying, Amber. Can we take a double box with Amber and I so we can have maybe some discussion? We can pop back and forth. Amber's on the Weather Touch itself. Okay, so we'll get that set up as well, because I want Amber to kind of chime in on these as well. But, you know, this one farther north had a confirmed tornado that was on the ground. It's all moving eastward. Now, the good news is that still the warned area, we have a very large rural area with not many people living there. But if you look
at all that spin.
This is just a ton of spin, meaning that the atmosphere, it's angry. Basically, southeast winds coming out of the south, southwest winds in the upper levels. So when the southwest winds meet those southwest winds and southeast winds at the surface, that's where you get that rotation coming in. This one at Stony Point, very, very dangerous storm right here. Stony Point, Clifton, Franklinton, get into your safe place right now. I would do it right now. Get the kids, get whoever may be in the area of Franklinton. This is coming on you at 45 miles per hour. This is a likely confirmed tornado that earlier the Weather Service had debris signature on. Franklinton, this is coming basically straight at you, right in your direction. So Franklinton, get into your safe place. Pine Cliff, Zona, Enon, these could be long track tornadoes. So just because you're a little ways from it, you need to pay attention. This is a very dangerous storm. It's moving eastward. We're likely going to see this polygon shift much farther southeast in the next couple of minutes, because the actual tornado is now on the extreme eastern edge of the warned area. So if you're in Franklinton right now, get into your safe place. This storm is headed your way. Let's go back to the debris signature here. I'm going to put my finger right on this area, and let's see what we get here, Amber, on the debris. Well, the debris actually, I don't know if it's contamination or not, but we were seeing debris earlier. That definitely was verifying.
I have a new update here.
Go ahead.
Tornado debris signature near Loranger, very close to the radar. Tornado signature wrapping up near the Hammond radar. So that's where we're getting that.
Again, let's go back, Amber, pull it out a little bit. This is the actual radar. And in meteorology, we call it a donut hole, because nothing shows there, because the radome itself shoots out. So in that point where the radome is, you just don't get anything. So this is coming very close to the radar itself. But we were talking about areas where near Loranger.
Yeah, okay, they just warned that. So you're going to see a polygon pop up here in a second. It's going to be just around the east of Independence.
Okay, and it's going to be hard, unfortunately, because it's very, excuse me, close to the radar itself. So,
thinking it's right.
Okay.
It might be right there.
Yes, very possible, north of Robert, east now of Independence and Tikva.
Yeah, it's tough to see with the radar being so close like that, because
it is.
As you know, the beam
width itself.
And I'm seeing some rotation being depicted right there.
Well, that's what they were saying near Loranger. That is extreme rotation coming in. If you look at moderate, strong, and severe, this is potentially a very large tornado being contaminated, unfortunately, by the actual radar site as well. So again, that's what we're looking at. So if you're in Loranger, this is moving away from you, but let's see any communities to the east of that area, Amber, if we can pull out at this point. Fortunately, we're looking at, Folsom is not that far from it. We'll see whether they put that polygon up or not. But I do want to come back up here and talk to the folks near Bailey. Now, near Bailey, that is moving east of you right now. And then also, we were talking about Holton. Holton, I would stay in your safe place for another 5 minutes or so. This storm is now moving east of you. But Folsom, you could be next in line. Go ahead.
We have 4 tornado warnings, just to kind of let you know that we got one there now east of Hammond. East of Independence that we just saw,
all right, so let's
and we're still following those 2 up north as well. So if we go south, east of Hammond, it's going to be really close to the radar.
Right. Well, it's on the radar, basically.
It'll pop up here in a second.
See, You know, again, here's the radar, here's Hammond. So it's really going to be difficult to visualize that. But nevertheless, that looks like a severe thunderstorm warning they put out for that whole area here. But likely, I'm going to put the reflectivity on. So basically, this entire box here, this is all warned of a severe thunderstorm warning. Winds up to 60, dangerous lightning, strong gusty winds. So again, this entire northern end is warned from a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, the area near Tickfaw and Hammond, we're going to be watching.
We're going to see that tornado warning pop up here.
Should pop up, yes.
Because it has already been issued. So east of Ponchatoula, that's where that polygon's going to go. And it looks like the rotations there just east of Hammond. I don't know why it's taken a little bit for this to show up.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of information is coming into the actual system itself. I want to show these other active ones too as we come in. You know, these areas now, I'm going to check velocity on these. And we're still looking at likely some very strong winds northeast of Stony Point. So we were mentioning stay in your safe place, Stony Point, for the next few minutes. Franklinton, though, you need to get into your safe place now. This is moving directly at you at this point. So I'm going to put on the debris signature here as well and see if we can see any type of debris. Now, I really don't see as much, which is good news. Amber?
I am concerned about that. It's hard to see the rotation there just east of Hammond, but in the direction that this would be going, it would be going over the interstate there.
Yes.
So that is concerning at this point. So if anybody's in that area just east of Ponchatoula, that would be west of Madisonville. Madisonville, you're not under the warning.
Right.
But anyone southeast of Hammond and anyone trying to drive down I-12 between Covington and Hammond.
Right. Do we know where Jennifer Crockett is at this point, guys? If you let us know in our ear. We have our storm tracker out as well, and we're keeping them away from the worst of it. I mean, safety is number one here, but she can have some maybe eyewitness information on the ground to kind of get give us information of what she's seeing. So Tanner, if you're in there, and you can.
She's
let us
in
know.
Roseland. Right now, she's in Roseland.
Okay, she's near Roseland and Fluker. So do we want to go to her real quick and kind of get an idea of what she's seeing?
She looks like she's almost in Fluker.
Okay. So there is Jennifer. Jennifer, can you hear us? I don't know if Jennifer can hear
you. Can you see the big, the tree that's down across LA 51? We're going to turn around right now.
Yeah.
Bruce,
yeah.
can you hear me?
I can. Yes. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Okay. So we're turning around right now, and I want to get this message out to anyone who is listening to us. There are a lot of people out driving on the roads right now, and we have passed power poles that are down. Wow. There is no power on right now. We just passed through coming from Amite up Highway 51 through Arcola. We're on the north side of Arcola now, heading toward Roseland, and you can see, I'll put the windshield wipers on this shot real quick, somebody there having to turn around because there's debris like this in the road. You can't see it when you're coming up on it. In fact, the power lines that were down, it was on a big wooden pole, and you couldn't see the web of power lines at all. All that you could see was the debris from the wood in the road. This is an area, LA 51, near Arcola, where there is really no side or shoulder of the road. We were just lucky to be near a railroad, and so we could pull off on the side of the railroad tracks. But you can see traffic is starting to back up on the side going south now because of the debris that is in the roadway. I did talk to a lady who was heading right in the direction of Fluker about 20 minutes ago, and she saw you, Bruce, and Amber on the air, and she saw our storm tracker and stopped and said her grandmother was calling her because that's exactly where she was driving.
Perfect.
So
yes.
You all were able to get her to turn around and not go that way. But you can see people are trying to get out here and drive. The wind is dying down. The rain is dying down, but there's no power. It's pitch black. You can only see things when the lightning flashes around us.
All right, Jennifer, you stay safe out there. We're going to come back to you. And again, obviously with power lines down, some of the winds, we've had confirmed reports of at least 2, Jennifer, actual tornadoes in and around that area. So, of course, daylight will bring us first light with more details as far as any damage or any assessment. But nevertheless, we have seen quite a bit of that. So, Amber, why don't you take it away from here?
Yeah, I'm just looking at kind of watching this line and looking for the rotation, because this entire line seems like it's had some decent rotation most of the evening there, and also keeping an eye on the debris tracker.
Franklinton, you need to, remember I said how fast Franklinton, it's coming on you? Franklinton, it's on you right now. So I was saying, 10 minutes ago, get into your safe place, get ready. This thing is moving quickly, and right now it is right on Franklinton as we speak. Likely rotation, likely a tornado on the ground. The debris signature actually correlates to exactly where this rotation is, and as you can see, right on Franklinton itself, we potentially have a tornado hitting the city as we speak at this point. So this rotation, a lot of this, just kind of ignore this. This is all contamination. We're so close to the radar. But Franklinton, this area here is what we're looking at. And right over Franklinton, the debris is shown right over the city itself. So as we notice, here we go, Franklinton, this is the area we're looking at. Not this. This is all contamination from likely the radar. But this is showing debris on the lower end. This could be potentially shingles, not necessarily pieces of plywood or large pieces of fencing. But when you look at areas in yellow and green, shingles being blown off of homes. These could be, anything small around the yards that are being blown around. So this is an area likely, Franklinton, you're getting very strong straight line winds, if not a definite tornado. So this, you need to stay in your safe place at Franklinton. Then we come down towards Sheridan. Now, hopefully in Sheridan, this is going to stay and shoot the gap between Pine Cliff and you. So we're hoping it comes into the rural area here as the track is basically shown. But remember, we've been tracking these now, it's 9:07, for about 35 minutes now. And we've been seeing the same debris signatures moving with the actual correlation of the velocity or the area of red and green. So that shows us that potentially we have long track tornadoes that have been on the ground and they're continuing. These have been moving, and I'll actually show it to you. Over the last few minutes, I want to show you the areas of pink in the velocity. I want to go back 30 minutes, and I'll put this in motion. Watch how the pink lines have moved. So basically from there to here, from there down to here. So these have moved now at least about 25 to 30 miles. So that shows us with these same warned areas, the areas that we're watching out for, rotation and debris, have been traveling west of I-55, now to the east of I-55, and now approaching areas of southwestern St. Tammany Parish. So that just gives you an indication that these warnings, as they continue to get spread eastward, these are the same exact rotations that we've been traveling over the last 30 miles or so. So I'm going to go back here. Amber, if there's anything you want to shoot, just come right in. I'm going to go in first, though. This is the area that we're looking at with Franklinton. So we're going to go back to the debris signature here and show that likely with this area, we're seeing now it moving off to the east, maybe southeast in this area here. So Franklinton, stay in your safe place, but it looks as though this is kind of moving off to the east or down to the south and east. I want to come farther south.
Can we revisit this? I'm sorry, can we revisit this Hammond one there?
Absolutely. You could drive, Amber. So again, here's your donut hole with the radar, and it makes it really difficult because we're scattering the beam. It just is really difficult to show when you're with the radar, it shoots out, but you have a big area here that has a lot of contamination on the radar itself.
Looks like we could have some rotation in that.
Let's look at...
It's tough. I mean, we can revisit this other rotation, and I'll keep an eye on it off to the side.
Yeah, that's the radar itself, so it's really, really difficult. But nevertheless, the fact that there's a tornado warning out there, if you live around Hammond, get into your safe place and stay there until we actually clear you at this point. Now, this is kind of an interesting area here, too, Amber. Again, this is kind of in a rural region coming in just to the west of Folsom. Now, Folsom, I would get into your safe place starting now. Because if this skips south and then a little east, I mean, and actually it just did, this is an area of very strong winds. Is it a tornado? on the extreme southwestern end, we do have the warning. You're not under a warning as of right now. However, as I showed you, these have been tracking these pink polygons basically west of I-55 all the way now coming into parts of St. Tammany Parish. So we're talking 30, 35 miles maybe. So these have been traveling and traversing potentially long track tornadoes, staying on the ground for many, many miles. So Folsom, get into your safe place right now. This is an interesting area too as well. I mean, is this potential rotation? You see that area here that I'm pointing out, Amber?
Yeah.
Right here. So they may extend it eastward and pull it farther east as well. Let's put on the debris tracker there. That's a kind of a suspect area. I'm hoping we're not going to see anything. Maybe a scattering of straight line winds. But Folsom, you should be in your safe place right now.
I don't like that look of that debris that looks like it's moving.
You almost see
what
kind
I'm
of that rotation. You almost see kind of a rotation around it. So Folsom, you need to be in your safe place right now. So I want to clear some people, Amber, very quickly.
Sure.
I want to go into Franklinton. You should be in your safe place. Sheridan, you should be in your safe place now. This is coming to you to your south and west. However, you know, any little jog to the north could bring some of that really strong weather to you. So Franklinton, Sheridan, in your safe place. Pine Cliff, we mentioned you should be in your safe place right now. I mean, you're right on the flank of that actual rotation in this area here. More so here, but even though you're here and the rotation is here, certainly if it does kind of drift southeastward, then you could be in it too. So Pine Cliff, Franklinton, also Sheridan, you need to be in your safe place right now. Stony Point, you're fine. You can get out of your safe place. If you're watching in Stony Point, which is farther back here, you're in the clear now. So you can come out of your safe place right now as that storm has passed you. Now, this area near Folsom, Amber, this is really kind of interesting looking as we're beginning to see potentially some rotation coming around. Folsom,
a little bit of a notch in that line.
Yeah, it is a bit of a notch. Folsom in your safe place. You need to be in your safe place right now. Interior of your home, farthest away from windows, farthest away from walls. Get into an interior. If you're den, you have a bathroom. If you're downstairs, make sure you stay on the ground floor in a bathtub. These are areas that you'll be safest. Heaven forbid that we do get a tornado that hits your area or your subdivision. So Folsom, in your safe place as we speak. Coming back down south, areas toward, say, Lorraine, north of that area here. I want to show, let's see, debris finder here. Kind of hard to tell, but this is interesting too. This is kind of lining up, Amber. If you look at it, the debris coming in north of Lorraine, but a very rural area coming in. This is Robert, so this is coming up into Tangipahoa Parish, and then eastward, this is coming in to St. Tammany Parish. So this is an area within the warned area that we're looking at. So I want to come back and look at some of the reflectivity, or rather the actual shear rate. Let's see. Yep, we're getting the shear rate as well as the debris finder kind of in that same area. So right in this region here. Now it just disappeared, so hopefully that whatever that storm was or straight line winds, hopefully it's weakening just a little bit. Now here's Hammond, the radar again, that donut hole we talk about. Everything is now moving beyond that. So we're going to start getting a much better presence on radar as we start getting further and further away from the radar itself. Amber, any more reports of anything that we need to know?
Yeah, I was just looking at the chat here. It says more trees across roads in Tangipahoa Parish there with I-55 at mile marker 43.
Okay.
And then that might be around just north or south of Amite, which is where we saw rotation. Also near Highway 1061, and then also where Commercial Street and Roseland Avenue meet, and then also where Highway 51 and Arcola Road meet.
Okay.
So we've got several reports of trees down, which is probably what's giving us all the power outages. You know, we should also, you know, just let folks know who are watching this on the South Shore that the timing here is you're likely to see this within the next, say, couple of hours, move through maybe that next hour and a half.
So what I'm going to do is actually come down, because a lot of people say, what about us?
Yeah.
Well, South Shore, as Amber mentioned, I mean, the main line itself is far to the south and west of you, so say New Iberia. So the axis, and Amber and I were actually talking about this before we started our live stream on Fox 8 Live, that, you know, kind of the delineation now is kind of more east to west, where it was earlier coming in from Houston more on an axis like this. So this is coming in first, and then the South Shore is going to have all this coming in likely within the next hour to an hour and a half. So the South Shore, I'm going to put this into motion. We are seeing quite a bit of rain on the western edge, moving in toward the river parishes, Laplace, St. Charles, St. James, St. John, those areas coming in near Lake Salvador, northwest of Lafitte. But the worst of it right now is on the North Shore, and you can see those polygons. Wow, the polygon here, Amber, is really extended all the way to Covington.
New polygon. That's a new one here.
So let me stop this here.
That is a new tornado warning.
Okay.
And it looks like the rotation.
I'm going to go into velocity.
Is maybe just northwest of Covington.
And
so it'll be heading in the direction of Covington and Abita Springs.
Kind of in this area here near Lorraine. So Lorraine, these things are popping up. Lorraine in your safe place. Betico, I would be in your safe place. Folsom, this is a suspect area too. So in these areas here, let these pass over the next 15, 20 minutes. Let these go by, because we have seen these spin-ups coming up pretty quickly. So, I mean, polygons have been popping over the last 45 minutes, and they just kind of come alive at this point. So if you're in Folsom, Lorraine down to Betico, Covington and Mandeville, I would certainly get into your safe place. This is all heading your way at this point. We're hoping just it would be more of a wind situation. I'm going to come into the debris signature, and let's see if we see any type of clustering here. And I mean, at this point, it's really hard to tell of anything. Go ahead.
I do want to mention, too, I'm seeing behind this initial line where we're seeing the spin, I am seeing some very strong winds, still very destructive looking winds here behind this line.
You want to plot them, Amber?
On
you can go ahead and plot
velocity. But also, too, let me make sure that I'm...
Let me go back to velocity here, base velocity. Again,
so if we go back to velocity and then we plot.
Go ahead.
So I'm looking kind of in this area here. You can see that we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the areas still encompassing Roseland and Independence. But if you look at the winds, now this is going to be a little above the radar beam. Oops, let me get this here for you. It's going to be a little above the radar beam, so some of these winds might be a little lower when they hit the ground. Let's see, that's what I was seeing there. I was seeing some of those higher numbers around 50 or so in that area. So I'm seeing some stronger winds that could still be a little damaging, not considered severe here, but behind the line, your winds are still really gusting. So even once this initial line does pass, you're still looking at some pretty strong winds for quite some time. But of course, really watching the leading edge there with all that spin on that line, Bruce.
All righty, so Meg Gatto just came in. We have numerous reports of trees down across roadways in Tangipahoa Parish, but as of right now, we have no reports of any homes damage. So that is certainly good news. So we have seen confirmed tornadoes on the ground by the Weather Service, and we've seen a lot of power outages. Our Jennifer Crockett, she is live in the storm tracker, and we just got a report. As of right now, we don't have any major damage to homes. Now, a lot of these have been in the rural areas, but some have been over actual cities themselves. So again, trees down, power outages up toward Tangi, but at this point, we have no reports of any homes damaged. So Amber, go back to it. I apologize, but this just came in.
Yeah, you mean like go back to the velocity here?
Yeah, or anything more on chat as well, anything more coming from the Weather Service. I'm going to come back to the velocity. So Folsom, still in your safe place. Lorraine, in your safe place. Betico, in your safe place. Covington, you should be in a safe place. Waldheim, St. Benedict.
Watch
all
that
this is
area
coming
around St. Benedict.
Yeah, you know, kind of, you know, we're seeing a lot of wind in these areas. This could be either a weakening or potential developing tornado near Goodby. So again, we said Goodby in your safe place, Betico in your safe place, St. Benedict and Covington into your safe place. This is all moving southeast right now. And it's been amazing, Amber, that these polygons have been moving now for almost 50 minutes. And again, telling us that they're seeing rotation all the way along west of I-55, now approaching I-59 on the eastern end. And that's a pretty long ways for long track tornadoes. Now, in these areas here, this is likely straight line winds. I mean, when you really don't see kind of a rotation, but you see a delineation to and from the radar itself, this is likely very strong gusty winds near Sheridan. Again, we said stay in your safe place. Franklinton, you're clear. Pine Cliff, you're clear. Zona Enon, I would stay a bit more. You're still in that zone of some strong gusty winds. But then as we head down towards St. Benedict, Goodby, Waldheim, Covington, you should be in your safe place at this point. Kind of a suspect area right near Folsom. So again, this is an area that potentially has strong gusty winds, if not a potential tornado that is trying to develop. So right now in these regions, I mean, these are all very suspect areas. As this moves southeast, may not look like a lot right now, but if these start wrapping up in a few minutes, then it could be right on you. That's why we're saying you may not be seeing much around Covington and St. Benedict toward Goodby and Beatico, Lorraine. You should be in your safe place right now. These areas, if you start getting rotation quickly and it's on you, you don't have time to react. And that's why we're saying we want to be better safe than sorry. If you sit in the interior of your room, of your home rather, in a bathroom or whatever, and nothing happens and you come out, great. But we don't want these things wrapping up quickly and all of a sudden they're at your doorstep. And that's what these have been doing. They're moving at 45 miles per hour. So if you get a storm that's developing and slowly trying to get its act together, before you know it, it could be right on top of you. So that's why we're saying in these areas from Goodby, St. Benedict, down toward Covington, Waldheim, at this point, I'm going to hold you off because likely this is moving kind of south and east toward Covington and right now over Goodby and over toward Lorraine as well. Do we have any timestamps on these, Amber, on some of these warnings?
Yeah, if you click on it, I kind of pushed.
Okay, go ahead if you don't mind. I'm going to let you take it.
Okay, I kind of pushed the box to the north because it was a little intrusive there, but they're right there. So that one for St. Tammany Parish goes until 10, but if your phone went off in St. Tammany Parish, it's going to be for around that Covington area.
Right.
And that's headed to the southeast. So folks in Morgan Bluff, Pearl River, I would just be watching this storm. Slidell also, that's going to head towards you probably within the next hour. So we'll have to watch those areas. Madisonville also, I would be watching these storms because we did have some rotation near Hammond. That box is that polygon's still there, but it's been tough to see rotation in that area with that with the radar so close. But I'm kind of zooming out here just to show you how many polygons we have going on now. We have technically 4. Actually 1. We have 1 here up towards Washington Parish, this one that's encompassing St. Tammany Parish, and it's kind of an odd looking polygon there.
That is a very odd looking polygon.
And then actually that might be another polygon that was just trimmed down. It's kind of tough to say, but you also have that one for Hammond. That one's been issued for quite some time. In fact, let's see how long that one still has to go till 9:45 here. So we'll see if that one, if they're still seeing some debris in that. Here, I'll let you drive this here, Bruce.
All right. So let's see. All right, you can bring me up. That's fine. So in these areas near Covington and Beatico and Madisonville, these are very, very suspect areas here. So again, these cities, as we've talked about, you should be in your safe place. Down toward Mandeville as well. Madisonville, Mandeville. These winds are coming your way. Hoping it's just winds, but nevertheless, if we start seeing any rotation that develops quickly, and these can wrap up very quickly, we don't want it to come right on top of you. So even though it's winds and we bypass, you may not get any issues at all. But then again, if it does come into a tornadic development right on top of you, that's why we're saying we want to be better safe than sorry. From Mandeville to Covington, to Beatico, to Lorraine, Mandeville, Madisonville, all these areas here, you should be in your safe place as this all is moving your way. I'm going to put on the debris tracker and see if we can see anything. I really think this is kind of an exaggeration at this point, but also I think we could have some debris flying around, but we're still getting some contamination coming away from the actual radar. So at this point, this could certainly be around Covington and Madisonville toward Beatico. These areas here, this could certainly be strong gusty winds moving in your direction. So that's why we want you to get into your safe place. Let's better safe than sorry. And I'll let you know when you are clear. Waldheim, you're good. St. Benedict, you should be in your safe place. You're right on the cusp of the northern edge of that potential wind field coming in as it moves off to the south and east. Lorraine, you're fine. Folsom, you're fine. Safe place in Folsom, you can come out. Lorraine, come out. Ponchatoula, Lee's Landing, if you went in, you're fine too. Hammond to Albany up I-55, this is now past you. Anyone pretty much from Lorraine westward, 55 and west of that, you're in the clear. Now we're coming in to St. Tammany Parish. We're coming into Washington Parish. So these are the areas that we need people to pay attention to. Lorraine, fine again. Beatico, another 5 minutes. It's moving away from you. But Madisonville, Mandeville, Covington, St. Benedict, Lacombe, you could be next. Keep an eye out. We're going to potentially have you go into your safe place in the next couple of minutes as we continue to watch this move your way. So at this point, we have several warnings that are in effect. I'm going to put the actual reflectivity on, the actual radar that we normally would look at, and I'm going to put this into motion, and you can see just how quickly this stuff is moving. I mean, from Independence, now it's all the way to Covington, approaching Bush and Bogalusa. So near Bogalusa, we have a warning up there as well. So let's focus in farther north. I do want to mention, again, for the South Shore, I know a lot of people are just, you're watching and you're saying, well, why are we breaking in if there's nothing going on? Well, it's our duty, if we have tornado warnings, to give the information that could save lives and property. So South Shore, not much going on now. A few showers are developing. Now the river parishes, you are beginning to fill in with some rain. Down toward Houma and Thibodaux, some showers moving in. But eventually, in the next hour, all this is going to be filling in on the South Shore. And my hope is that the low that's to the west of us, creating all this, begins to lift north, and most of the strong energy lifts away from the South Shore. So mainly north, in areas towards Zachary and Baton Rouge, this is where the actual warnings have been, not so much farther south. So fingers crossed, South Shore, we hopefully will be okay. We're not out of the woods. I'm not saying a zero chance. However, most of the energy does seem to be lifting a bit farther off to the north. So I do want to come into Bogalusa. I want to show the South Shore. Here's Houma, down to Thibodaux, Napoleonville, Morgan City, and Cutoff. Not much going on down there towards St. Bernard Parish. Coming in toward Chalmette, Slidell, not much going on. However, Slidell, this is heading your way. You're fine now, but it is moving in your direction. Let's come in to the north, and I want to look at, let's look real here, quickly here.
I've got another observed tornado.
Okay, where is that? Let me just look at base velocity here.
Oh, okay. No, actually, I apologize. That what they're saying, the way they worded this made it sound like there's another one. The observed tornado warning still remains in effect for St. Tammany Parish until 10.
Okay. All right. So, all right, let's kind of reset here, and we'll go from north to south. So here's one tornado warning that is now over the Bogalusa, Lees Creek area. If you're in Pine, Sheridan, Pine Cliff, Enon, you need to be in your safe place still. Pine Cliff, Franklinton, Pine, you're good. Sheridan, stay in your safe place. So areas here need to be in your safe place as we do continue to watch some very strong storms. So in this area here, you should be in your safe place from Varnado to Bogalusa over to Lees Creek. As this begins to move eastward, Enon, you're still close enough to the potential rotation. Sheridan, you're close enough to the wind action. That's why I'm saying, even though you're behind it, we still have that axis coming in. You will be cleared in the next couple of minutes. But as we move forward, as all this is moving eastward, from Lees Creek down to Bogalusa, even up to Varnado, these areas, you should be in your safe place as of right now. Sun, I may ask you to go as well. At this point, it is farther north of you. So if this stays north of you, we will be okay. But Sun and Bush, we're going to be watching out for you as well. But you are, at this point, in okay shape. Let's move a bit farther south now. Here's the next tornado warning that we have coming in near Waldheim and St. Benedict. Now, this is a suspect area here, coming in around Highway 21 south of Waldheim. So we've been saying that Covington, you should be in your safe place. St. Benedict, over to Waldheim, in your safe place. Right now, Mandeville, hoping that's not actually debris, but nevertheless, this is an area that we see strong gusty winds near Waldheim and St. Benedict in this area here. Now, down toward Madisonville, let's come down and see what's going on as well. So Madisonville, your strong winds are continuing, and we do see the potential of that. So that's why Madisonville and Mandeville and Covington, I've been saying, likely into your safe place, because this is a very broad area of wind field coming into your region. If there is a tornado or a funnel or something trying to develop, likely it would be in this vicinity here, right over Madisonville. We hope to get this thing beyond Madisonville before we get some really tight rotation. But this is something we watch for, to and from. Now, north of Madisonville, we're seeing some debris, but at this point, we have a lot of contamination at this point, Amber. I mean, you can see this is all not debris. I mean, when you see the blue, that is not like total destruction. I want to just put that out there right now. But likely in this area here and in Madisonville, we may have some debris trying to develop. So this is still under a tornado warning. Right now, we don't have any confirmed on the ground tornadoes. However, this is an area that is suspect right near Madisonville, and it's moving eastward toward Mandeville. So in these areas here, you saw the latest update, it's moving eastward, and we're still kind of seeing a notch area here. I'm hoping this is not debris as far as actual debris on the ground, because, Amber, the actual velocity doesn't look all that impressive. I mean, we are seeing some here, but we're really not seeing a perfect delineation. It's kind of a messy one here, and I'm hoping it's messy because it would just be more of a wind event than potential actual rotation from a tornado itself. Betico, just hang tight for another couple of minutes. Lorraine, you're fine. Goodby, you're fine. Folsom, you're fine. St. Benedict, stay in your safe place at this point. You're still too close. Waldheim, stay in your safe place as well.
Okay.
This is a very strong wind. Go ahead, Amber.
I'm getting a radar confirmed tornado in northern St. Tammany.
Okay.
And that would be what we're watching here. And
so likely, oh wow, look near Waldheim and even south. This one here in the warned area, south of Waldheim, that just popped up, this polygon? Oh, it's just, oh, you're moving the radar.
Look at that.
Okay.
Just north of Waldheim.
Wow.
Now that's a new warning. You just saw that pop up there.
Okay, that is a new warning.
That is
okay.
going to last until
So, Sun
10.
and Bush, get into your safe place. Waldheim, you should be in your safe place right now. We mentioned that about 10 minutes ago. Waldheim, you should be in your safe place. Let's take a look at the debris tracker here, Amber, and see. This is where the actual rotation is. And a bit farther south and west, sometimes on the southwest flank, you can get that rotation because they rotate counterclockwise, and that rotation may put the debris down south. So let's put it back on as far as the debris, the actual wind field here, but debris could be down farther south. So Waldheim, in your safe place. We mentioned about 10 minutes ago, be in your safe place. That is likely a potential tornado that could be on the ground. So this is a dangerous situation. The setup right now, we have energy much closer to South Louisiana. That's why we're seeing all these tornado warnings. You know, a lot of times we come on and, you know, us five meteorologists, we say, you know, there's the threat of tornadoes and strong gusty winds. And some people may say, well, we've heard that before. But we put them out there because when the situation does come to fruition, I mean, a lot of people on the North Shore are being affected at this point. So here's that area, wow, near Waldheim. So on the rotation, indicating could be a strong one. And that's where we were seeing the newer warning coming in with the potential of a tornado north of Waldheim. So Waldheim, in your safe place right now. You should be in your safe place. Bush, coming your way. Go ahead, Amber.
Tornado observed, St.
Okay.
Tammany Parish.
Okay.
And I think they're seeing what we're seeing with that debris signature.
Absolutely. So again, Waldheim, in your safe place. This thing is just north of you. It is traveling off to the east-southeast. Now, if we are seeing any debris with it, right in this area here, this is what we would look for. Now, this area of red may indicate a bit of a weaker tornado. When you see the areas of kind of the orange and yellows, that may be smaller debris. You start getting the darker blues, that's much larger, like plywood. So the rotation itself is certainly there. This one here kind of concerns me as well.
This one just started tightening up.
Yeah, it did. So now as you see, the reds and the greens kind of really starting to cluster, and you have more of a symmetry with it. Right now, this may not be developed as a tornado yet. However, this is going to be a suspect area over the next few minutes to see if indeed we start getting debris. But north of Abita, I'm going to say now, with this just developing, Abita Springs, I would get into your safe place at this point. This could certainly rapidly increase. So Abita Springs and Waldheim, you should be in your safe place right now. Lees Creek, definitely, we need to watch out for you and Bogalusa. It looks like as of this point, most of the, at least the velocity has to the south of you, Lees Creek, I would stay where you are, but Bogalusa, right now, you seem to be fine. These are areas that we look for. So these potentially could be two tornadoes. They're displaced from each other, but one north and east of Waldheim, one pretty much due south of Waldheim. So they may not be totally developed yet. However, we look for debris signatures, and we're beginning to see in this area the potential of some debris that may be flying around. Very small debris at this point, because again, you start getting into the deeper blues, that's exactly where we're seeing this couplet or this area of velocity that we're watching for. So again, looks like very small potential debris in the atmosphere being lofted. However, at this time, it doesn't appear to be nearly as strong as the previous tornado that we were looking at that was near Greensburg, moving in toward I-55. So Abita Springs, let's come back down here to a velocity, Amber, if we can. Near Abita, north of you, we were watching an area. This one now is moving northeast. Abita, again, you should be in your safe place right now. This is likely an area, if not a tornado, of some potential rotation in the atmosphere, potentially or likely a funnel cloud. It is very low to moderate on the actual scale. We're not seeing the strong reds. However, these things can definitely very quickly get their act together and become major tornadoes. When we start seeing the reds strong, these could be EF2, winds up to 135, 140. This one near Lees Creek. Sun, we mentioned, should be in your safe place. Lees Creek, in your safe place. Bogalusa, as of right now, I think you're fine, because these are all moving away from you. But Crossroads, on the southern end of it, we need to watch out. This is an area, too, that we're watching potentially winds. Now, this is coming right outside, Amber, of the actual extreme northeastern edge of the warning itself.
I'm wondering if they're going to warn that.
Right. I was going to say, it'll be interesting to see if they either move the polygon or put up a whole new polygon. But, I mean, look at the crisscross here that we have. All the pink, these are all tornado warnings that are in effect right now. I mean, you know, for Louisiana, it's really rare to see that many going at one point. So pretty much from south of Arnado all the way down to Talashique, and then even farther south, let me come over here, to Mandeville and Madisonville. I'm going to come back to Mandeville and Madisonville.
Yeah, that one's tightening up there.
This one is tightening up here.
And that polygon just got updated.
Okay, so and it did. So let's take a look at the actually debris field here. Just northeast of that, we're seeing a little bit. It seems to have maybe weakened, hopefully. So the shear rate, well, I mean, we're still seeing, wow. You know,
heading for the lakefront there at Mandeville.
Yeah. So Mandeville, we mentioned, you should be in your safe place. 15 minutes ago, it's coming your way. It's coming very quickly. Likely going to see some very strong gusty winds right on the Mandeville lakefront coming in. Here's the causeway coming in on the north end. We don't have reports yet for the causeway. I don't know, John or Lauren, if we have any reports that you all know of the causeway. Nope. That, you know, maybe it's closed with these storms moving in. But nevertheless, I mean, people should not be out on the roadways under a tornado watch and the potential of strong winds and tornadoes, which many have been confirmed. I mean, this is a very interesting couplet coming in as far as rotation potential on the moderate to strong side, coming into the highly populated area toward Mandeville. So once again, Mandeville, you should be in your safe place right now. All areas north of that region and also right to the actual lake itself, right along the lakefront. So you should be in your safe place. This is all moving to the east and to the southeast. So once again, here's the causeway. Here is moving east toward Mandeville. This is all heading your way as far as rotation. Let's see velocity real quick. I'm going to keep it here and look. Looks more of a wind event. I don't know about rotation, but we're not really seeing the to and from the radar.
I'm seeing it a little bit on a different color table.
Let's see here. A little bit here, yeah. So we can come into a couple of different velocities. I mean, nevertheless, the wind itself is coming around toward Mandeville. So I would be in the interior of your home if you live in Mandeville. So as this moves by, probably a big burst of heavy rain, some gusty winds. hoping it stays tame to the point where it's just wind and doesn't develop. But remember, even though we're seeing this now, in the next 3 to 5 minutes, we could see a very large couplet and eventually some debris. Go ahead, Amber.
We now have 5 radar confirmed debris signatures.
Wow, okay.
And let's see here, another tornado warning in, just west of Tangipahoa Parish, it looks like.
Okay, so just west of Tangi. So that's coming in off of, let's see here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got these 5 tornado warnings in effect along the actual line.
And they all appear to have debris signatures.
Okay, so if we look at, first of all, let's come down and we'll go up and down the line. This is the one near Madisonville and Mandeville. We showed you here. So this is the area, even though it extends this far out, this is an area that may get hit in the future. So the polygon goes a long distance, but usually when they update it, it's in the beginning of the polygon and then it moves within the warned area. So this is the area that we're seeing the most wind and potential debris coming in near Mandeville. So Mandeville, Big Branch. I would say Big Branch and also Lacombe, I would start preparing to get into your safe place. This is kind of moving off to the east and southeast. So Mandeville, Big Branch, down to Lacombe, I would get into your safe place. Mandeville, you should be in it again right now. Let's travel farther north. Coming in southeast of Waldheim, southwest of Talashiq. This is an area too that we're watching. So Abita, I'm going to clear you in about 5 minutes. Abita, you still have some activity near you. I would stay put. Waldheim, you're fine. Waldheim, you can come out of your safe place. Moving into Talashiq, stay in your safe place. This is all moving in your direction. So if you're west of this area here, you're clear. East of this area, as we track, we're not going to have everybody in the actual warning get into a safe place. As it gets closer, within 5 to 8 to 10 minutes, we're going to tell you you need to get in your safe place. But for right now, Talashiq, I would get into your safe place. We've had reports of a confirmed tornado near Greensburg with the same warning that's been going right. Wow, it's 9:42. So this has been going now for over an hour. The same potential tornado that has been traveling west of I-55, now moving toward I-59. So that shows you the distance that these are traveling.
Hey, Bruce.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to clarify that I did mention from the Weather Service that there was another tornado warning out west. That is not correct. It was inside of a paragraph. So I just want folks to know that.
I was going to say, because most of it is east of Tangi.
I went back and looked at the radar, and I'm not seeing what they're seeing. And so it looks like that paragraph was just worded to make it sound like it was current, but it was talking about current and past.
Current and past, okay.
I just want you to know that.
Exactly. So
yes. Folks at home.
Yeah, Tangipahoa Parish, it is east of you, and I was kind of, wondering that, but we have a lot going on. No, Amber, hey, you know what? We've all been there with just a lot of activity going on. So let's take a look at a couple of other velocities here. So Bogalusa, Lees Creek, in your safe place right now. This is an area suspected. Lees Creek, Bogalusa, in your safe area. Again, Sun, we said, stay in your safe area. We haven't cleared you yet. Now, Zona and Enon, you're fine. Pine Cliff, Franklinton, Pine to the north, you're fine. Sheridan, stay put for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you should be clear. Now, from Varnado, Bogalusa, Lees Creek, down to Sun, here's Highway 21 up to Varnado. This is an area that we're still watching. So we have some potential rotation near Sun. Also, potential rotation near Varnado as this polygon has continued to move off to the east. So, Lees Creek, Bogalusa, Varnado, Sun, in your safe place. We're going to clear you. This is moving quickly, so let's hope it's just a wind event and we don't get any type of development that does develop on the ground itself. So then we go up toward areas of Bogalusa. This is our other warning. Near Bogalusa, it's going to be interesting because the polygon, Plainview, you're clear. And a lot of people are saying, I've never heard of that. Well, there are so many little cities we haven't, but people live there and people have interests there and they have families there. So we're here to actually try and keep everybody in the region safe. Bogalusa, much bigger city in this area of Washington Parish. In Bogalusa, we're seeing the wind. So west of Bogalusa, you're fine in any rural areas. But from Bogalusa eastward, Crossroads, at this point, I'm going to hold off on bringing you into a safe place. We want to see if we extend this. If we do, you should have an easy about 10 minutes to get into a safe place. So I want to see what they're going to do with this Bogalusa one here. And I'm going to see if I can go in and actually look at, this expires at 9:45. So it's expiring now. So when this drops off, I want to see if they extend it. If they don't extend it, Crossroads.
It is dropping off.
It is okay. So that's perfect timing there. All right. So in the velocity, Crossroads, they dropped it. We're seeing some wind, but you're fine. No need to get into your safe place in Crossroads. So out of the 5, we're down to 4, which is good. But still, we have to watch these lines as it moves eastward. Now, some of these are getting ready to move into Mississippi. Now, the Mandeville one, as of right now, looks to be more of a wind event than any type of rotation. Let me come into the...
looks like there could be some rotation
well,
there
actually,
offshore,
they're Big Branch, yes.
kind of headed towards the direction of Lacombe.
Yes, okay. So in these areas, Mandeville, we had mentioned in your safe place, Big Branch, Lacombe, stay in your safe place at this point. Let's see as far as the debris finder. Still, it's likely wind, but I don't want to assume here.
That notch there, I think, is where that would be.
This is, yes, this is definitely strong winds. Mandeville, it's coming past you. Mandeville, I'm going to clear you in about 5 minutes. Just let this go by. Big Branch, you should be in your safe place now. Lacombe, Oaklawn, you should be preparing in the next couple of minutes. Get into your safe place as this all is moving pretty much in your direction. So, Oaklawn, Lacombe, Big Branch, Mandeville, just hang tight another minute or two, and then once this gets another scan eastward, you will be fine. Likely fine now, but I want to hold off another minute or two because when the new scan comes in, moving at 45, it's going to really move farther away from you within the next couple of minutes. So, heading over to Slidell, nothing as of yet. I'm going to put on the reflectivity. Right now, no rain. This is our rain on Viper, and this does indicate that very heavy rain that's continuing to move in from the west. So the northern edge of the line here is Mississippi and Louisiana. So it's getting ready on the north end to move into areas of I-59, here's I-59, and moving eastward into Mississippi. Then we get a nice little break here. Now, likely, these storms will not become severe because the worst of the energy is with the main line itself. Amber, you have something?
Some new power outages.
Okay.
Tiffany, can you repeat that in my ear here? 8,600 without power in Tangipahoa.
Wow, 8,600.
And 1,000 without power in St. Tammany. And, and it looks like I also got a message here earlier from Meg, 9,000 Entergy customers out of power in Tangi.
Likely.
And then it looks like 1,300 between Washington and St. Tammany, but it looks like that might have been inflated a bit if St. Tammany is right at 1,000. So these strong winds are certainly doing some damage to the power grid here.
And likely a lot of trees down. As you know, Jennifer Crockett, she's in Storm Tracker, was saying that many trees are covering roadways. So with power lines down, potentially live power lines, with trees down, you don't want to go meandering and sightseeing. I mean, first light in the morning, we'll be able to get an idea of what we're looking at. But again, we're still under these tornado warnings that are moving toward Mississippi right now. So what I want to do is I want to take another tour from north down to the south and see where we are as these begin to move into parts of Mississippi. So coming in back into velocity here, and likely, I would say Mandeville, Covington, Goodby, St. Benedict, you're clear. So it's past you. So all areas here in Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington, Waldheim, you're beyond this, so you're fine. Now the severe weather threat has ended for you. But if you live east of that area, once again, as we go in toward Big Branch and Lacombe, heading toward Slidell, I may have you go into your safe place as well. I know it's a lot of people there. However, we're still seeing the threat of some very strong gusty winds that has been with that warning. And whenever you have a tornado warning and you see the potential of any type of rotation, may not be any rotation that develops, but the radar indicates there is a possibility of development, and if it does develop quickly, on top of you, you've got a problem. So that's why we're kind of being preemptive in saying, get into your safe place, let's play it better safe than sorry. As all this moves past you, we will be clearing you. And with all the power outages, if you are watching on your iPhone or your iPad, fox8live.com, on the weather app, you can watch us live. That's why we say have a way to get, especially at night, it's dark, have a way to get your watches, warnings, and your alerts as far as in your safe place when we clear you. So those are the important things that we try and preach, and we do it a lot, and it may become white noise over time, but for us, it's important that you know that in situations like this. So Mandeville, again, I would say you're clear. Big Branch, now it's on you in Lacombe. So these areas, Lacombe, Big Branch, I would get into your safe place. Slidell right now, I'm going to keep you where you are. No need to get into your safe place at this point. Let's hope that this weekends and they do drop this actual warning. In fact, what I'm going to do is see when this warning ends at 10:15. So we still have a little ways to go. So right now it's 9:50 and we have about 25 minutes. So for Big Branch and Lacombe, I'm going to say let's get into your safe place and just play it safe. This is moving at 45, so you're not going to be there long, but we just want to make sure that as this passes by, we don't get, which we potentially could, get a tornado developing. And in this atmosphere, they can develop very quickly. And if that happens, you may not have time to react. So at this time, I would say Lacombe, definitely get in your safe place at this point. If you live around Oak Lawn, Big Branch, this wind pattern pretty much right on top of you. Safe place, Lacombe, Oak Lawn. This is moving all in your direction. Here is Bayou Oaks. Here is Slidell, North Slidell. Right now, not much going on at this point. Let's hope that we can drop this in the next, say, 15, 25 minutes. If not, we may have to put you in the safe place. But nevertheless, this is something very, very important as far as we've had confirmed tornadoes on the ground. So I'm going to clear this out now, come back out, and you can see, I mean, we're getting close to these moving out of Washington and St. Tammany parishes. So we're getting close there. So at this point, once they move out, pretty much the severe weather threat on the North Shore is done. Now we have, let's see, advisory from the Greater New Orleans Causeway or Expressway Commission due to thunderstorm, crosswinds, no motorcycles, RVs, or glass trucks on the Causeway Bridge. Updates to follow. So again, no surprise there. When you have strong gusty winds and a lot of rain, no RVs, no glass trucks, and no motorcycles at this point. So Amber, why don't you drive for a little bit? I'm going to go get a quick drink of water to clear my voice, and I'll be right back with you. So y'all can take Amber forward. Yeah,
we'll just do a little bit of a reset here. I'm going to kind of come a little wider. We still have 4 tornado warnings that we are following, and you can see that they are basically from north to south in parts of Washington Parish there, in fact, a couple of them that we're watching, and down towards St. Tammany Parish, all headed towards Lacombe, towards the Pearl River area. I've been following the rotation on these, and it has been really kind of messy, but I'm going to zoom down and we can kind of go through this together. It looks like maybe we could be seeing some rotation there around that Big Branch area. So let me just double check this here. Yeah, so I'm kind of watching the Big Branch area right now, and that's headed towards Lacombe. So if you're in the Lacombe area, if you're down 190, I would get into your safe place. If you're in Oak Lawn, in Oak Manor Estates, anywhere inside this polygon, if you're down 190, I would get into your safe place because we could see some rotation here. This is still a tornado warning, so that's where we could see some rotation, and really we could see that rotation all along this line. So what I'm going to do is put on the shear rate here, and it's also seeing a little bit of possibly some rotation here. So that's going to be headed to the east. So folks in Lacombe, Oak Lawn, I would be getting into your safe space here. This particular warning is going to go for a bit yet, so that's going to go till 10:15. So it could get extended depending. A few of these have not been holding on for very long, and a few have. So we'll watch that one. But I do want to move up the map here to this next one, and again, kind of a messy look when it comes to this velocity that we show with the greens and the reds. So I am seeing some kind of come together. Maybe we've got some rotation there, but I have been seeing a little bit of a debris signature here in parts of St. Tammany Parish there heading into believe that's going to be Pearl River County. So if you're in these areas, if you're in Hickory, I would find your safe space. So let me go back to, so we could be seeing a little bit of rotation right in this area here. That's going to be northwest of Hickory, but still real tough to nail down there. I don't see a debris signature, but that one has had a history of debris. Certainly could be seeing that right here. That could be a little bit of a debris signature. Most of these, a lot of these have had a history of touchdowns here. So we've got to follow that, because certainly not seeing these as all radar indicated. Not seeing anything right now concerning up towards the north, which is good news. In fact, I'm going to do a little bit of a run here so I can kind of watch this. So sometimes you got to put it into motion so you can see. A lot of really strong wind, maybe some little bit of a rotation there just east of Sun. I was watching that one there. That one looked like it had a little bit of a debris signature to it. So that one there, it looks like they're probably going to be, looks like they've trimmed that back a little bit. So you can see the polygon got trimmed back a little bit. So down Highway 43, certainly could be seeing some rotation there. It looks like, actually, you know what? We've got that tightening up there. So that's going to be over Highway 41.
That's what I was going to bring up, yeah.
That's not inside. It looks like it, at the last scan, they included that into a tornado warning. Can we hit that debris signature there? That's going to be on LA 41 or Highway 41 there, just southeast of Talashique. Headed towards, looks like we kind of got to have a little bit of a debris signature there, headed towards in the direction of Nicholson. You're not in a tornado warning, but we're going to follow that because this entire line has had a history of tornadoes since it moved in to Tangipahoa Parish earlier. There's where we could be seeing a little rotation. There you go. Now we have a new tornado warning here. This is headed towards Picayune and into Nicholson, so you're now under a tornado warning, and that is going to include Catahoula as well. So this is going to be crossing over potentially 607. Also I-59 there, so it's heading in that direction. And it looks like it might be heading into maybe a less populated area. That might be a really good sign, but unfortunately I am seeing a little bit of a debris signature. You can kind of make it out there. And there's that spin that the radar is picking up on. Oh yeah. There we go. Absolutely. You can see where the winds are coming away from and going towards the radar. That's what we're looking for here when we're on this product. When we're on storm winds, we call it velocity. You'll hear us refer to that a lot. It's because we're looking to see what kind of rotation we have. And when you have it tightening up like this, that tells us that we could be seeing a tornado possibly on the ground. This is right now radar indicated. In fact, I'm going to make sure that the Weather Service hasn't given us any information. Reorganizing the tornado warnings is what they're saying here. Focusing on two main areas currently: a surge near Talashique. We just covered that together here. Yep, right there. With a history of producing tornadoes, and another surge near Lacombe that has loosened up some since they originally issued it. So Lacombe, we did have that one kind of start to loosen up, which is good. It's certainly not seeing as much concerning rotation, but sometimes you don't always see it on velocity. Sometimes sometimes we'll put it into motion to see it, but that is certainly concerning. They're headed towards Picayune, headed towards I-59, towards Nicholson. So if you're in Nicholson and Picayune, I would say definitely get in your safe place right now. Just east of Highway 41. This just crossed Road 41 there, just east of Talashique. It's moving very quickly. In fact, they've been moving at about 35 and 40 miles per hour. So that is a very fast moving system. And it looks like the debris signature not showing as much. Actually, maybe I'm going to go back to yeah, okay. Let's say yeah. So it looks like it is possibly showing some debris right back up in here. And that's going to be, maybe it's going to be like tree limbs. We're hoping it's not anyone's home, but the radar is basically looking at the size of things. So what it does is it looks at the size of what's falling in the air, whether it's rain or hail. It can kind of pick out whatever's falling from the clouds. But when it sees something larger than that, when it sees something that's going to be like a branch or maybe a shed that's got torn up, and you have some wood maybe flying in the air, that's what we're looking for. That's what this product sees right here. And unfortunately, we have seen that a lot tonight, Bruce. You know, in fact, most of our tornado warnings, in fact, this one here, let's go back to there we go. Actually, it looks like that might be behind the main line. Let me go back to oh, that's behind the main line. So not rotation there. Yeah, that Nicholson one is, in Nicholson, you should be in your safe place right now. Heading into Picayune,
And Nicholson, I would be in your safe
also
place.
in Lacombe.
Lacombe and Oak Lawn as well.
Anybody in Oak Lawn, Lacombe, make sure you're in your safe space here. This is going to be riding down Highway 190 east of Big Branch now. So that's moved out of the Mandeville area and it's headed back. It looked like it was maybe riding the shoreline and maybe coming inland here. But that one, so it looks like we're seeing some spin. Sometimes what you have on these leading edges of these strong storms is you'll see some spin and then sometimes they get lifted up and you get what we call spin ups. But that could be what we're seeing here. A little more concern there just north of that line, but the signature has been around this Lacombe area. So that's what we'll have to follow. Tough to see on the radar because it has been kind of messy. We've seen a few of those notches on the radar, but it's been really the easiest to see on velocity. Certainly could have some rotation in here. So anybody in Lacombe or in Oak Lawn need to be in your safe space and don't come out for a bit yet. Not until this moves out of here, which is moving quickly. Bruce, they've been moving, what, about 35, 40 miles per hour?
45 miles per hour, yes. So again, if you're around Lacombe and these areas here.
Let's check that Nicholson one there.
Okay.
Looks like that one.
So it looks like it may be weakening a little bit here.
Maybe let's put it in motion.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's
do the shear rate in motion.
Yeah,
so yes.
Could be broad. It's still got some rotation. It's telling us that there's still some rotation here.
And that's why the
may not be
warning.
as strong.
Right.
But
so,
they're going to keep that warning because we can't confirm that that's not touching the ground.
All right.
So anybody in Picayune, Nicholson, please be in your safe space now.
So here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to keep the actual shear rate on, which actually shows some rotation. So within these polygons, in fact, it looks like we're down to 2. They may have just dropped one, Amber.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm going to keep this shot right here and kind of show people what we're looking at. So this could be a water spout to the, basically to the eastern side of the causeway. But
and we are watching the South Shore, by the way, too.
Right. In Lacombe, this area here, and also the one near Nicholson. So these are 2 very large suspect areas. So Picayune and Nicholson, you should be in your safe place. Lacombe, we said about 10 minutes ago, you should be in your safe place. We're going to be watching Slidell. You're still fine in Slidell, but if this continues to kind of surge or weaken, or re-intensify, we're going to be watching this very closely. So Slidell, just keep an eye on things for the next few minutes. We're going to continue to update that, but I want to come throughout most of the area here.
Yeah,
and
can we visit the South Shore so folks? And I know they're probably hearing rain. The river parishes now starting to see this heavy stuff, and I can tell you right now, I've been keeping an eye on that area, and we could even maybe turn on the shear rate there to kind of give a little more.
Some of the winds.
Yeah, so you can kind of see that there's maybe a little rotation out in front of that line, but we have not seen anything concerning at this point moving through the river parishes. So if you're hearing that rain, we're not as concerned right now, but again, you can see some of that rotation along that line. It's moving pretty quickly. This
indicates basically potential rotation, but also these are actual winds that are coming within the main line. So Norco, Luling, Laplace, it's now moved through you. Norco just beyond you, Luling, and in Metairie and Kenner over toward the metro area to the West Bank, really not seeing a whole lot. I mean, you're going to get a gust of wind when it moves in, but it looks like on the southern end, it's weakened really quite a bit. I mean, the worst of it has been far to the north. So I'm going to put reflectivity back on, and let's focus in. First of all, we'll come into the metro because everybody's saying, all right, what about us? Well, as we take a look, I mean, not a whole lot coming in from Kenner, some light to moderate rain, but toward Norco and Hahnville, over to Laplace, around the river parishes, some pretty heavy rain in these areas, down toward, as mentioned, Hahnville, and then just a few light showers passing by in the metro. But all this is moving our way, so we are going to see rain filling in on the South Shore, likely over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Now, parts of the West Bank coming in, Marrero down to Estelle, some moderate rainfall. I'm going to come farther south, and then we're going to take a look at the bayou parishes down toward Lafitte and Crown Point. Still some of that shower activity, but at this point, we've had no reports or even any inkling of any tornado warnings this far south. Great news there. Here's Jean Lafitte and Lafitte, a shower popping up right now over you. Here's Lake Salvador. Here's Carmel to Bayou Gauche and over toward Des Allemands. I'm going to travel farther south and west toward Graceland and Matthew and Lockport, heading over toward Saterio and Dulac. Some rain in your area, but more is on the way. I'm going to focus out here. We still have all this mess to go. So even though we're seeing some of these leading edges of showers, all this is going to fill in and give us a pretty nice soaking as we move in, I would say, through the 10:30, 11 o'clock hour. Right now it's 10:04. You're watching Fox 8 News at 10 now, as we've been going with this coverage of this tornadic activity. But nevertheless, Napoleonville down to Thibodaux, that activity is beginning to fill in. So you're going to start seeing some moderate to heavy rain lingering for likely the next hour. Raceland as well. All this moving your way. Heading over toward Morgan City, some shower activity down to Dulac, Cocodrie, and Golden Meadow, down toward the area of Grand Isle, Port Fourchon. Not much happening yet. Over toward Poydras and St. Bernard, a few showers beginning to move into your area. Gentilly, not much going on at this point, but the worst of it has been on the North Shore. And we're down now, which I'm happy to say, 2 tornado warnings. At one point, we were covering 5 tornado warnings at once, just kind of coming up and down the line. So let's see what's happening toward Nicholson. We mentioned you should be in your safe place. We'll stop the radar here. We'll put on some of the shear rates, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. A lot of the shear rates now have weakened a lot. Amber, you can see that here, and I'm going to put in the actual base velocity. Yeah, looking much better. So these expire, let me see here. So this one expires at 10:45. They may likely expire this one early. And then we're looking at this one expiring at 10:15. Likely they're going to let this one go through Slidell. But Slidell, right now, I think you're okay. I don't think you need to get in your safe place. I don't really see much indication of that, as well as rotation. And then the shear rate, as far as the winds, I mean, basically we have a little bitty spot right along 190, but that's pretty much it. So Slidell, right now, I would say you're okay. But, you know, just stay with us another, 10 or 15 minutes. Let's get this out of the area, and then hopefully we'll get these drops. So right now it's 10:06. Hopefully in the next 5 to 7 minutes, they will be dropping this. So that certainly is good news there. So let's come out to the lakefront now. I understand we've got some video there of the lakefront itself, and just kind of a rainy night in New Orleans. A guy out there. I don't think he's fishing, but I don't know what he's doing. But nevertheless, some people just doing a little sightseeing, and South Shore has not seen anything of what we've seen on the North Shore. So certainly that is good news. And what I'm going to do now is, Meg and John, I just want to kind of get you guys prepped. So do you guys have any information? These warnings are still up, but I'm really feeling comfortable that things are starting to wind down moving into Mississippi. Anything that you guys want to add?
Well, in terms of the South Shore thread, the impression at the moment you would have is that the system isn't as big, it doesn't have as much energy on the South Shore.
That far south.
And we should not see, as far as you can tell, a repeat. Doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods.
We're still under the tornado watch for the South Shore through 2 a.m. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, because this is becoming more of just a rain event at this time. A lot of the energy is beginning to pull northeast. In fact, it's now pulling northeast of, I-55. Now it's beginning to pull northeast in the next 30 minutes to an hour north of I-59. I mean, it's pouring along I-12 right now near Mandeville, but nevertheless, most of this energy is beginning to pull away, and this is more of just a moderate to heavy rain event. So I'm optimistic. I'm not writing it off. Amber and I are going to stay here till this is done. 2, 3 in the morning, whatever it takes. But nevertheless, we're watching these storms really more so cooling down the atmosphere, and the energy is beginning to lift a bit farther north. So, John, the long answer I just gave you is, yes, we're looking much better for the South Shore, but we just can't write it off.
And Bruce, we know there are thousands of customers without power tonight. About 40 minutes ago or so, I was speaking to someone who lives at I-12 and Highway 190. She had just lost power at that moment. I also, just a few minutes ago, talked to the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff, Gerald Sticker. He told me, although it's early, it's very dark, they can't see everything. At this point, there are no indications that any homes took on damage tonight as a result of this tornado. He said most of the damage from downed trees appears to be in the northern section of Tangipahoa Parish. He said deputies are out tonight. They're helping to clear trees from roadways, and there are no roadways that are totally impassable, which is good news. And while I was on the phone with him, he actually said, there's people driving by me right now. Please, if you could get the message out to folks, stay home. If you don't have to be on the roads, do not be out here, because there are so many trees on the roadways tonight. No,
absolutely. I mean, it's great advice. I mean, you never know what's on the ground. Live power lines. If you have that many outages, that means likely lines are down. They could be live lines. And, you know, certainly that is not a good combination being out and about. So just to recap, we still have 2 tornado warnings in effect. These seem to be weakening, but I just wanted to show Meg and John, this is what we're watching. The area in red, this box, this is the tornado watch through 2 a.m. Likely, we're going to start seeing this peeled off from west to east. Now, in the next hour, I don't expect this on the western edge to go through 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to start peeling it off, and then likely this may shift farther north and east as the energy pulls away from us. But the fact that we're under the watch and the fact that we still have those warnings, we still cannot let our guard down. So let's come in and show you the Picayune and near, let's say, Nicholson. We're going to stop this, and we're going to see the shear rate. And shear rate itself, let me stop this. Yeah, I'm really liking it. Likely these will expire and eventually not be renewed because really the shear rate as far as wind action is definitely getting a lot less. So go ahead, John.
It almost seemed like this thing was moving so quickly, 35, 40 miles an hour, that when you got in one of these, you know, polygons, one of these geometric shapes, you were in a warning, but really it was almost the eastern side of that box that was in the current situation. The danger had passed largely.
Exactly, because when you have these very long warnings, it's because you're moving quickly. I mean, if you have a slow-moving storm, you could have a polygon this large, and that's pretty much it. So we are getting some wind and rotation. These are not tornadoes, by the way.
And then to that end, if you're in Covington, if you're in, well, really north of Covington, if you're in Folsom, if you're in Fluker, those places that did see some in Tangipahoa Parish, that did see some rough weather tonight, are you pretty much out of the woods now?
Yeah, I think they are. I'm becoming very optimistic that, you know, we're not really seeing winds to and from the radar. So we're not really seeing the greens and the reds. And I know we say it's like Christmas, green and red, right? Well, that's what we look for on the radar itself. And right now, I mean, when you see displaced areas, these are just pockets of energy. But when you see that kind of, you know, area that's just defined and you're seeing both coming together and then the shear rate shows any type of wind direction, that's what we look for. So near Nicholson, even though this is showing a little bit, I mean, this is really the debris detector. I'm just wondering if this is just a little contamination right now. Before we go back to you guys, I just want to check this out. And Amber, you can chime in too. I want to make sure on velocity, I'm going to come right into this area. Many of us passed Nicholson over in Mississippi. So the shear rate really is not showing much, and the base velocity really is not showing much either. So it may just be contamination, but whatever that is, still it's some wind, but it's not tornadic at this point.
It looks like I was following this little bit of rotation that moved through Picayune. It's now looking like it kind of dissipated, but if we zoom in, I've been watching this area here, but if I put on the debris finder, I saw maybe something
down here.
Down here, follow this one right here. So I'm going to come back, and you can kind of see it's really tough. You see that?
Yeah.
Maybe something moved through Picayune.
Right.
There was a little weak rotation there for a bit that has passed, but I'm sure it's very windy there. So we need to follow up in Picayune.
Yeah. Likely, I would say we're in pretty good shape there. It just, it didn't come together like I would expect it to come together in a solid line moving in. It just kind of broke up and it came back together. So, you know, sometimes you can get, you know, contamination in the radar. It could be anything from moisture in the atmosphere to heavy rain in the atmosphere to different types of winds. But nevertheless, I'm really feeling confident now that this polygon here, likely approaching Catahoula over in Mississippi, this will likely be able to expire, and likely this one as well. I want to check in with Slidell real quick, our viewers and friends down in Slidell. I'm going to stop this here, and I want to make sure that we're not seeing any type of new velocity, really not in this area. I mean, you know, maybe, you know, some breezy conditions, but actually, I'm not seeing much. Hold on, let's see the shear rate too.
Hang on,
Go ahead.
I'm seeing a little bit. You see where that Morgan Bluff?
Yes.
That's what I'm seeing a little bit on a different color table here. Actually, let me get my mouse. There we go. On a different color table. Where was that? We have a little bit of rotation.
North, right here, north of Slidell.
There we go. I got my bearings now. I'm watching that there. That is still in a tornado warning. In fact, Yeah, it's got 30 more minutes. So that one's tightening up a little bit. So we'll need to keep an eye on that one. But
actually,
you can kind of see it's
actually near Pearl River. I would say Pearl River, get into your safe place now. That's how quickly these things can kind of pop up. I mean, and now we're beginning to see a little rotation here. So again, I'm becoming very optimistic that the most of the viewing area North Shore is really starting to get out of the woods. Now we have 3 warnings. Is that a new warning they just put out farther north? We had 2, and now the Pearl River one looks like it's new. So we have 3 different, well, that just dropped off. So, interesting. Let me see here in the chat. So near Morgan Bluff, North Slidell, Morgan Bluff in that area.
They're seeing that same thing.
Yeah.
So they're also seeing what we were just watching here together.
Gotcha.
Another strong circulation east of St. Joe, north of Slidell. So that's going to be heading into that Morgan Bluff area, hopefully into what appears to be more of a less populated area, which is west of Stennis Space Center.
Slidell, I think you're fine. It's north of you. It's moving off to the east and northeast away from you. But Morgan Bluff over towards Stennis, you know, I would definitely keep your eye to the sky as we're now starting to get a little bit deeper into Mississippi now.
Also watch Eden Isle, that area.
Eden Isles
I'm kind
as
of
well.
watching that. It's kind of starting
to... farther south, here's Eden Isles.
That's...
Yep, and we come off the Twin Spans
I'm seeing
here.
I'm a little concerned with that one.
Yep.
Heading towards Lake Shore Village.
Yeah. Could be a little bit of a rotation here. I understand that we have Jennifer Crockett, guys. Do we have Jennifer? She is in our storm tracker. If somebody can talk to me. I think Jennifer may be live out there. And we also have a report of an overturned 18-wheeler, I think. So if somebody... Okay. Jennifer, you there?
Yes, Bruce, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Where are you? What are you seeing?
Right now we are in Livingston Parish. So we've moved from Tangipahoa Parish to Livingston Parish. We are in Amite, and we're really not seeing any damage here in Amite. We are going down US 190, and the power is on. We're not seeing really any problems. And I'll tell you, we drove through some locations in Tangipahoa Parish, the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Department being extremely helpful for us. Getting the messages out. And I can let you know, we didn't see any reports of any building damage, any home damage. We've been in constant communication out there in Tangipahoa Parish. We do, however, have reports of several blockages of debris in the road. So I want to run through those. And Bruce, if the truck is the one that I know about that you were mentioning, it wasn't an 18-wheeler, it was just a big extended cab pickup truck, and that one was down at Commercial Street in Roseland, about 3 miles from the big tree that was down in the road where you saw us near Connerly. So those are 2 of the areas in Tangipahoa Parish that they're working to clear right now. I am told that all of the occupants out of that pickup truck did get out of the pickup truck, so that is good news.
There you go. Here's our...
We're also looking at Highway 10 at South River Road. We're looking at Richardson Road and Bennett Road, and Hart Road at Highway 190, Yoakum Road, I-12 Service Road, and over on Macedonia Road. Those are the areas in Tangipahoa that you want to avoid.
Absolutely. You know, any power lines down, they could be live. Right now, Jennifer, we're actually looking at that overturned truck, and a lot of lightning in the distance, a lot of heavy rain as well. Not sure if wind blew the truck over or maybe it was an accident, but nevertheless, you can see that the weather at that point was very inclement, where we had some major storms, that heavy downpour, very strong gusty winds. Viper was looking at times up to 65 to 70 moving through that area. So, you know, again, Meg Gatto was mentioning that we didn't have a lot of structural damage from what I understand. Okay, we may have lost her at that point. Okay, so nevertheless, you know, a lot of power lines down. Authorities are asking people in these areas, please don't go out. If your power's out, they're going to get it back on as soon as they can. But at this point, in the dark, it's just not a good idea to get out and about and just try and wander a little bit. So, John Snell, you have something?
A couple things. Just looking at some of the weather stations, when you do get on the other side of this, I followed one weather station here that had about a 9-degree drop in the temperature. So there's some cold coming, which, you know, I guess what we have here with this energy is
it's the battleground.
It's the clash of warmer and colder air.
When we talk about spring severe weather season, the cold air saying, I'm trying to come down, the warm, moist air. I mean, today was a humid day. It's just battling, and what happens is you get that warm, moist air, that cold air basically undercuts it, warm air rises, and that's when you get these big, big lines of storms. Then you get these veering winds with a southeast wind off the Gulf and a southwest wind coming out of the southwest. As you go up in height, that's where the interaction of the different winds create rotation. That's why when the Storm Prediction Center puts out any type of, say, tornado watches or those warnings, the dynamics and the conditions are there. When we say a watch means conditions are favorable. So I understand we have Andres Fuentes. He is at the lakefront. Andres, what are you seeing out there at the lakefront? Heavy rain, I see.
Hey, Bruce, hope you can hear me. We are here on Lake Storm Drive. Good step out of the way. I remember you guys mentioning the live picture not long ago, maybe 20 minutes or so. We saw that gentleman out here.
Okay, so obviously with the inclement weather, we lost that feed. So once again, this is where he is. I mean, he's toward West End, toward the Bucktown. He's right on the lakefront, and I mean, just heavy, heavy rain. But look how quickly it's moving through. So yes, we're getting big doses of rain, but it's moving at about 45 to 50. So when we were saying at 5 o'clock, I said this is going to be kind of like a 1-2 punch coming in and out. And fortunately, that's happening because the tornado watches and warnings we had up north, if we had a slower moving system, I mean, we would be in this for probably another 3 to 4 hours. I really think in the next 2 hours, we're done with this. So maybe a 4-hour situation of severe weather, where sometimes you can go 6 to 8 hours even with severe weather. So these are all moving eastward, getting ready to move outside of the Fox 8 viewing area. We're getting close. However, there are no other warnings in effect. Okay. This blue area or green area here, this is a flood warning toward Baton Rouge. So, Amber, you got something?
Tornado.
Or did they just put a new warning out?
Debris signature there with that rotation we were watching.
Okay.
That is just southeast of Pearl River.
Okay.
So there is, and the Weather Service is seeing it as well. You can kind of tell they're around Morgan Bluff.
Right.
That is where we have that rotation. You can kind of see it there.
So Morgan Bluff, you should be in your safe place. Slidell, you're fine. This is more in this area here. So this is moving basically in this direction away from Slidell, but heading really north of Pearlington as well, off to the east. Now, again, Morgan Bluff, you know, you should be in your safe place. We had mentioned that. Slidell, you were fine. But Morgan Bluff in this area here, north of it, this is where we're seeing the potential of some debris being blown around just a little bit. And it doesn't have to be a tornado. I mean, it could be straight line winds and getting picked up as well. So this is a situation where in Morgan Bluff, you should be in your safe place. Right now, we're really not seeing a ton of rotation, but still, we are seeing an area here that we're continuing to watch toward Crawford Landing too. So in those areas, I would stay in your safe place. But beyond that, most of the rest of the area is fine. So where are we going next, guys? Oh, go ahead, Meg.
You know, just about 5 minutes ago, we actually were showing Andres' live picture there at the lakefront, and it was totally calm. Right. The wind was not even blowing, and that just shows how quickly the storm is moving. That it went from that to so strong that our signal basically got blown out from our live view there. Right. Can you just talk about how that is how quickly this is moving through tonight? That's
right, and that's why Amber and I were saying that, you know, into your safe place. We may not see, we see a suspect area, but get into your safe place because these things are moving quickly. And if you get a rapid spin up in 45 miles per hour, this thing could be on you within 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes. So, you know, when they're approaching areas and we say get into your safe place, many times distant cities don't have to be in their safe place that early. But when you've got a storm system moving that quickly, as it's coming faster on you, we need to get you in your safe place earlier because it's moving so quickly. So that's a good point, Meg, because, I mean, these storms, as they continue to move through, they are moving at a very, very fast pace. And near Nate Case, this is another kind of suspect area.
New warning here.
Okay, new warning. So near Nate Case, and, you know, again, that's on the extreme eastern edge of the Fox 8 viewing area. So, I mean, as far as debris, you know, we could have a little stuff blowing around here, but this may be just in the beginning stages where we may see a larger cluster developing and we would start seeing more of that red and green and more. So in Tangipahoa Parish, in their case, get into your safe place. Let's take a look at some video now of some trees down up in Tangipahoa Parish. And Tangi really got hit hard with some very, very strong gusty winds. This is a report of a truck that is on its side. Now, was that an accident or windblown? Not sure. But here is another roadway. This is coming in, the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office. We appreciate them letting us use this video. You can see the trees down. There's debris in the roadway. Those power lines look to be intact, but we do have reports of many other power lines that are actually down. So, I mean, look at the tree damage here along some of the roadways. So, likely potential tornadoes in the morning. First light, we'll start getting more of an indication. Were these straight line winds? Were these actual tornadoes? And the Weather Service out of Slidell, or rather now the offices in Slidell, but the radars in Hammond, they'll go out and do an assessment, and that's when we get all the information as far as were these actual tornadoes and if they were strong or weak. They would give us an actual wind field, they would give us a distance, a width, what the swath path is. So that's something we're going to watch right now. So the only really concerning area we're watching now is right near Nacase. And Amber, let me do this. Let me come out and show people where it is. So here's Picayune, and also here's Carrier. So Nacase is right on the cusp of our viewing area. In fact, if this is extended, we're not going to follow it anymore because this goes more into the Biloxi market and also the Hattiesburg market. So this is still in our area, so we're going to stay with this for a little bit longer here.
The Weather Service is saying, you know, they're also seeing what we're seeing with the tightening of that rotation, and they're saying that a tornado appears to be imminent.
Okay. Let's go to, so right here, it's a small one, but it's there. So this is the area they're looking at, correct, Amber?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're in Nacase, get into your safe place right now. If you live near Sellers, get into your safe place. Again, smaller communities in Mississippi, but this is likely a tornado that the Weather Service is indicating that this is definitely likely a storm that is going to cause some damage with a lot of twisting winds. So Nacase, also near Sellers, this is all moving eastward. The line's been moving at about 45. The reason why I'm saying Sellers, get into your safe place, is because this is going to be on you very quickly. It's moving very fast. As a result, these areas need to be on the lookout, and we're going to see in the next scan whether or not we see more expansion of the red area from the green area. So right now, this is absolutely showing some type of rotation where the green is toward the radar, going towards Hammond, the radar, and then going away in red. So away on the red, coming to in green, indicating we're seeing potential rotation in this area near Nacase. And this is moving directly toward Nacase as we speak. Sellers, hopefully just north of you, but Nacase right now, you're under the warning. You need to be in your safe place immediately as the storm is moving into your area as of right now. Let's see if we see any debris signature. And again, we haven't gotten a new scan in, but we will momentarily. But the debris finder, if there's anything, it may be in this area, but it's really not showing much as of yet. And the Weather Service did indicate it looked like it was in the beginning stages of becoming a tornado. So this is the signature we look for. I mean, the reds and the greens that come together. Amber, any more information on any other areas besides Nacase?
Not yet.
Okay. So I think we're going to start winding down. Go ahead, Meg.
I have some updated Entergy numbers for you here, and also Clico and Washington St. Tammany Co-op. Just to give people an idea of the power outages we're seeing tonight, we've got more than 5,900 customers on the North Shore, Entergy customers alone who are without power. That number is over 1,000 in Tangipahoa Parish. Clico is reporting 2,200 customers without power tonight in St. Tammany Parish. Washington Parish, Clico customers a little over 700. Entergy customers in St. Tammany, 3,800. So we've got a number of outages. The Washington St. Tammany Co-op for Washington Parish alone, that number is 1,800. So 10,000, excuse me. The number for Tangipahoa Parish Entergy customers is 10,000 without power tonight.
Wow, that's just that area. So we're looking at
just Tangipahoa Parish.
15 to 18,000 on the North Shore without power.
Yes.
That's significant. Go ahead, John.
900 in Tangipahoa Parish are Washington and St. Tammany. They don't have a lot of customers there by comparison to the other two parishes.
Sure.
But 1,000 in St. Tammany and another 1,800 in Washington Parish, which in St. Tammany, the last time I checked, it was only 142. So they've kind of ticked up.
Right.
And as to your point, they need winds to die down before they can get their people out for their own safety. So hopefully they'll be able to get on that. The other thing, these debris trackers, this debris technology is just amazing.
It's
from miracle of technology.
Right.
But what it doesn't tell us is whether the debris is a forest, or in the case of Morgan Bluff, whether it's part of the Honey Island swamp versus a home. And I think there's the early indication. Hopefully this stays through the night and into the morning. But the early indication, Bruce, is that perhaps a lot of this debris happened to be forest land?
The way it sounds, I mean, a lot of the video were, again, early stages, it's dark, power out. But you're right, John, I think the early stages of what we're seeing is likely more forest type, trees and limbs and things like that. Maybe some shed stuff. But at this point, I don't think we've had really any reports. In the newsroom, we're on the phone calling all these different parishes. What are you looking at? What do we need to tell people? We have to get the message out. So you're right. As of right now, I don't hear of any major reports of any major structural damage. Right. And there's a lot of forestry we know on the North Shore. I mean, there's a lot of, wooded areas. There's a lot of trees. So I'm hoping that's
and not to make light of that. I mean, if it's your timberland, that's a bad day.
No, it's a bad day.
But it's not your life.
No, it's not your life. And, we can replant. And, if those hit power lines, then, you have a lot of power out. So the correlation to that, John, you're right. It could be a lot of, trees and a lot of vegetation type things that were blown into the atmosphere. And with the amount of power outages, it seems as though we may have a lot of trees down that hit those power lines, or the wind's blowing those power lines down. So it comes together where it sounds like, and we're hopeful, that it's not structural and people can get on with their lives with just cleaning up and not rebuilding.
If you would, Bruce, we're getting to the point here where the real energy maker here, the storm threat, is kind of moving out of our area. So for those folks on the South Shore, walk us through the timing, if you would, of how long this continues, because we saw the crazy video from Andres out on the lakefront.
Right. All right. I do want to mention the North Shore. You're pretty much done with this. I mean, it's moving on out. We're going to get some light to moderate rain, but the North Shore, of all the wind and all the racket going on outside, this is now clear juice. So North Shore, the severe threat is basically over. Now, South Shore, we still have a lot of heavy rain, but I'm optimistic that the upper energy is pulling far enough away where we're going to begin to see likely this tornado watch expiring before 2 a.m. Right now it's 10:32, looking at the clock here in the studio, that I'm hoping that this kind of peels off in the next, say, hour and a half to 2 hours. We can drop it, but likely it's going to shift northward. But to your point, John, taking a look down to the South Shore, I mean, yeah, we still have a lot of heavy rainfall here. And I'm going to put on the lightning counter as well, and we can kind of see what's going on. So the lightning counter is at about 108, so it's come up just a little bit. And you can see within these areas, these little white areas that kind of disappear, that's lightning within this main line itself. So from Thibodaux, moving off to the east toward the southern end of some of the river parishes down to the bayou parishes, quite a bit of lightning with these, but as they're moving on by, these are more lineal. They're not really rotators, and we can kind of see it's a main line.
If you would, please explain when you say 109 strikes, what does that mean? In what period of time?
Okay, so in the period of time from, say, 10:15 to 10:33. So in the last, 18 minutes, I guess it is, these are lightning strikes that have struck within that time period. Now, as it goes in time, the fewer the strikes, the better it is, because less lightning means weakening storms. Weakening storms mean less rain and less chance of severe weather. So if we see a lightning counter that goes up a little bit, the storms are still kind of pulsing. They're staying pretty strong. But at this point, we're not really seeing a large intensification. So now it's going up to 111. Earlier, it was down to 70 at the low end. So as these come in to that warm, moist air, we felt the humidity, the dew points in the 70s. So even though, thank goodness it's at night, because we're not getting daytime heating to get more lift, that would not be good with this whole situation. So if there's any silver lining, I know power outages at night aren't good, but during the day with daytime heating, these could be a lot stronger storms. So as all these continue to move off to the east, this is what we're looking at down to the south. So I think over the South Shore, probably another hour to an hour and a half of moderate to heavy rain. And then I'm looking at beyond midnight, around 12:30, 1 o'clock, we settle down. And tomorrow we get the payback. Tomorrow by midday, gorgeous, low humidity, breezy, 60s coming in. So let's hope we don't have any structural damage. As we said, hopefully vegetation, that's it. So I think we have a press conference going on, guys. Okay, a soundbite. Okay, we have a phoner going on. Are you all taking it, or is, oh, it's a soundbite. Okay, go ahead.
Well, what we're looking at here is mainly on the north end of the parish, in the Roseland area. There was a possible, also, I think, tornado around the Tickfall area and actually come through there. I came up from the south end of the parish, and so as I got further on the north end, the further north I got, the more the weather was worse, and it was more, a lot of debris, leaves, limbs, trash cans blown down, stuff like that. I think somebody's lost a trampoline, just stuff like that. But I think our biggest concentration here is on the north end in the Roseland area.
All right, and that was Sheriff Gerald Sticker, who I spoke to just a short time ago, the sheriff of Tangipahoa Parish, explaining the damage there. Again, reiterating, at this point, they have not seen any structural damage, any damage to homes. A lot of trees down, a trampoline, as he mentioned, that went flying out of somebody's yard. But the good news, as far as they can tell tonight, no structural damage and no injuries as well.
And through the entire event, it's early, so we have to put that on there as a footnote. But through the entire event, it appears at this point that the most human impact was the fellow whose pickup truck turned over.
And he was able to get out. Nobody was in the car.
So it would be, to your point, Bruce, it would be a terrible tragedy if at the end of the day someone stepped on a live wire and didn't realize.
Just stay put, right.
So the best thing to do here in the nighttime hours is
don't
stay
venture
inside,
out.
don't walk outside, and make sure you're very mindful of those power lines.
Absolutely. We're going to go back to Amber Wheeler. She's kind of monitoring the Weather Service chat. So Amber, with some of these storms, we're seeing some wind gusts up to 40 to 50 you were mentioning?
Yeah, seeing higher velocity returns, which is the wind moving upwards of 50 to 55 miles per hour in St. Charles Parish.
Okay. So, these storms, as we said, let's see the lightning counter from where we were. Looks like it's actually come down a bit, but this, it does make sense. Amber, if you want to go over to the BAM, I think it's up. You can kind of show it. Can we go back to Amber on the BAM and she can kind of explain what we're looking at as far as these storms themselves?
What's happening here is these storms, as they're moving through, behind these, there's still some very strong wind. So once the storms pass through, we're certainly seeing some winds that are still kicking up behind them. And it looks like the main line is just now moving past Thibodaux into Raceland. A lot of this is out in front of that line. But that's just now moving into New Orleans. We saw that big burst of wind. We could see another big burst of wind from this line of storms here moving towards the metro, moving towards the, you could see kind of the south of where it was the strongest earlier. So headed towards the Harahan area, uptown West Bank, you've got some strong winds coming towards you. So we're going to follow that, but right now have not seen any rotation on this line to the south. It's looked a little more ragged, but we have strong winds inside these storms as they're pushing through.
And really no surprise, Amber, because again, these storms are coming into a very ripe atmosphere where we're kind of rain cooled now on the North Shore, where we've had all that rain coming in. So if we can come back on camera, here we go, thank you. A lot of the activity north of us, we're rain cooled, the atmosphere is settled down, but a lot of this is coming into still that very warm, moist atmosphere where the dew points were in the 70s. On top of that, we just had a lot of heating from the day, even though it's nighttime, it hasn't been really tapped into yet. So as this is moving into still an area that's been untapped with a lot of moisture available, you can certainly get some of those gusty winds. And, we can take 35, 45 mile per hour winds. Let's hope we don't get any power lines down. But the good news is that we have not seen, and I don't really see much of a threat, not zero, of tornadic development South Shore. Not to say in the next minute or two we could get a warning, but at this point, the atmosphere farther south has been behaving. As the energy is pulling northward, that's where we've been seeing the worst of those warnings. And a lot of these warnings still, I want to point out at Morgan Bluff, let's stop this here because that's still in the Fox 8 viewing area. Still seeing a little bit south of Stennis. Amber?
I was messing with your computer. Sorry. You go ahead. I was looking for the wind gusts. I found the peak wind gusts, and it was pretty remarkable there. But you go ahead and cover that because we still have some warnings to cover on the North Shore.
Gotcha. So near Morgan Bluff, to get your bearings, I mean, here's Slidell, here's 190, of course, heading over toward Stennis Space Center. This is I-10 coming in here, heading over toward Diamond Head. But just south of the Stennis Space Center, again, when we drive through this area, very wooded, very rural area. You know, Stennis, it sticks out. You see the big, rocket out there and stuff. I mean, but really it's a rural area. So if we're seeing any type of wind issue at all, likely there's not a lot of structural damage that could happen in these regions. And it looks like the winds at this point are not wrapping around as far as any major issues. I mean, no debris at this point, and also the shear rate, I mean, very low. I mean, a little strip of, basically a straight line wind. So I'm very, this is just the update coming in. I'm very, optimistic and pretty positive this is not going to be an issue. This will likely be dropped. And then farther north, I mean, near Catahoula, that's getting ready to come out of the Fox 8 viewing area, northwest to Kill. Even those are beginning to pretty much die on out. So I'm feeling pretty good about this as far as hopefully we don't have major structural damage. I know we do have a lot of power outages. We had a truck that overturned. We're not going to know any other issues until first light in the morning, but still the South Shore, you do have a lot of rain to go. And at this point, flooding, low-lying areas could see some flooding, but this is kind of moving pretty quickly. So once we get the worst of it over, eventually I think it's going to move eastward, and as it does, it's going to be light to moderate rain. So John and Meg, anything to add?
Well, I think just looking at the trusty Fox 8 weather app, and you sort of future scan out, it looks that, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, this will all be gone.
Yeah.
At 12:31. Yeah. And this isn't an exact science, but it shows that somebody in the area would get that kind of Homa, for example, may still. So if you're south of the lake, southwest of the lake, you're looking at an event that's going to last maybe
another 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours. North Shore, you're going to get rain, but the North Shore is done with severe weather. So if you've been watching us and you want to keep watching us, we appreciate that and we invite you to do it. But the North Shore, basically, your threat is basically done.
Well, Bruce, I think that's a good point. Sometimes we're just better off telling people why we're doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And the fact is that there are still a couple of active tornado warnings, or one, in our coverage area.
Right.
So when we have a tornado warning in the coverage area that has a potential to take someone's life, we're going to follow that until kind of the all clear is there. So if you're on the South Shore watching, this does not rise to a level, this event, where we would normally be interrupting programming. So take a deep breath. Things look pretty good on the South Shore.
They absolutely do. And again, we're going to have some gusty winds. Amber was mentioning that, we plotted some of the winds 40 to 50 coming into an environment that hasn't been tapped in yet. Now, the North Shore has been tapped in, I would say tapped out. I mean, pretty much everything moving eastward, and the worst of the energy in the main line has gone, and then now we're kind of getting that settling of the atmosphere.
And as you pointed out, you have just that kind of extreme northeastern part of our coverage area, and once they're kind of out of the clear, then we'll go back to
regular programming here. Yes, exactly. So South Shore, still another likely 45 minutes to an hour. But the heaviest rain is beginning to move southeast. So in the metro right now, we are seeing the worst of it. So,
and Bruce, what was the strongest wind gust that you were seeing on the North Shore?
Amber, what were you plotting? Did we see up to 65, 75?
Sorry, I just moved your mouse there. I'm gonna pull a graphic up so you can see what I was just looking at.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
So I was looking at the peak storm wind gusts, and they're pretty high.
I'm going to come back to our...
It's going to load here.
Area. There you go.
And I've got max 1. That's the peak, the highest wind gust right now.
Okay.
But let me get to the peak that we've seen. So this says since midnight, but actually this is the storm event here. And just keep in mind that, 52 miles per hour, we quite often have the strongest at the lakefront because of the way the winds come in. They typically don't have a ton of traction to kind of slow them down. So we quite often see that the strongest there. And keep in mind that these are tiny little spots on a map. So the winds could be way stronger than this in between here, and we know that we have the possibility with that storm that's back towards the west here moving into the metro, that could have maybe up to 55-mile-per-hour winds. I'm watching really the west bank there and south, especially because it looks like that line is pretty strong as it's moving in. So again, keep in mind that even if you don't see some of these higher numbers, and these are still high, at these particular locations around this, you could still have some strong winds because the wind gusts, they're not uniform along this line.
And to
so
Amber's
we'll go back
point,
to Viper here.
great explanation, Amber. To Amber's point, those plots you see for the lakefront and New Orleans, for Houma, those are areas that report. So I wish we had reporting stations in all these little communities, but those are the major ones. So sometimes people say, well, Bruce, I don't see Booty up there. You have Houma, but you don't have Booty. Well, we don't have, and speaking of Booty and Luling, we're on it now, we don't have reporting stations from the National Weather Service or automated stations to give us a temperature basically real time. So we have these plots, but not everybody's plotted. So to Amber's point, you know, some plots may show 45, 55, but in areas without plots, you could have up to 75 to 100. So again, those numbers are kind of a uniform, but it doesn't dictate in those areas without any type of reporting stations that would indicate some of the higher winds or potential tornadoes. I mean, the fact that we have so many power outages and trees down, those are very high winds. 30, 40-mile-per-hour winds don't do that. You're talking, you know, 60, 70, 80 with a tornado, an EF, say 1 or 2, 100 to 130 maybe at times. So tomorrow morning we'll certainly get an indication of that. So, you know, at this point, the heaviest rain is moving into the metro. There are no more tornado warnings. So I guess, guys, and John and Meg, help me out here. I'm the weather guy. You guys are the news people.
I think very quickly, you were mentioning power outages. Let's take a look at our outage map just so we can bring people up to speed about just how many customers this affected tonight. And we could take, again, a look at some of the numbers. The South Shore, I could tell you real quickly, we're not showing the South Shore here, but I am looking on my phone at the South Shore outage map for Entergy. Not that many people affected. There's just a very small area, about 400 customers near the lakefront, actually very close to where Andres was live tonight. That's where they are experiencing a power outage. But as far as some of the other numbers we're seeing, Entergy reporting about, like I said, 500 outages in Orleans, St. Bernard Parish, 846, St. James, St. John, 828, Tangipahoa Parish, 10,300 customers without power tonight. Jefferson, very little, only about 300 people, 300 customers rather, without power tonight. Clico is reporting 228 in St. Tammany Parish, 736 customers in Washington Parish without power, and very little in Plaquemines Parish at this point. But again, that could change as the storms continue to move into this area a little bit more.
That's right. You know, we could see some wind. We have seen some wind with it. But when you look at the South Shore with the amount of energy that came in with these weather systems, I mean, we're really doing well on the South Shore. I mean, the North Shore, we know, took the brunt of it, and that's where tornadoes were at least confirmed by the Weather Service, that we have reports in real time of a lot of power outages and lines down, and a lot of tree and debris damage too. So not surprisingly that to the North Shore, I mean, we're pushing almost 15,000 throughout that area, where the South Shore may be at maybe 1,000 if that, guys.
By the way, Bruce, it's 62 in Booty.
Okay, 62. Thank you.
According to one of the weather stations I followed.
Okay, good.
And actually, on a more serious point, you talked with Sheriff Stigger earlier about the power situation.
Exactly, and you know, he was saying that's why he needs people just to kind of stay home, stay put because of all these power outages. Let's take a listen to that.
Well, what we're looking at here is mainly on the north end of the parish, in the Roseland area. There was a possible, also I think, tornado around the Tickfall area, and actually come through there. I came up from the south end of the parish, and so as I got further on the north end, the further north I got, the more the weather was worse, and it was more, a lot of debris, leaves, limbs, trash cans blown down, stuff like that. And somebody's lost a trampoline, just stuff like that. But I think our biggest concentration here is on the north end in the Roseland area.
So that kind of tells the story.
Right, that's kind of how it goes, you know.
Right.
The tornado, I guess, last year in Tylertown, Mississippi, drove up in the days after that, and that was a much more serious situation.
Right.
But it was astonishing how one person would get hit, and then it would jump up in the air and jump back
Right.
down.
It almost just skipped over houses.
So,
yeah.
you know, again, if it hits forest land, that's a terrible tragedy. We have a big timber industry in Louisiana, but it's not a human tragedy.
Exactly. And, you know, again, that's why, you know, a storm may be northeast of you moving east away, but if it's close enough, we may say get into your safe place, because to your point, they can kind of hop, skip, and jump. And, you know, you just don't, you know, a weird direction could bring it into an area, and you know, you don't mention them to get in their safe place. That's why we're overly cautious. And, you know, I'll get to this point. People say, Bruce, we evacuated for a hurricane and nothing happened. Well, you know what? That's a great thing.
Yeah.
You came back to no issues. So sometimes we have to do things that maybe, you know, it may be a pain, it may be, you know, a distraction, but, you know, if you come back and it's fine, that's good. So, you know, at this point, let's hope that we don't have any structural damage. We have no reports of any injuries of anything, obviously, if no structures are hit. But in the morning, we will start getting that first light. We'll start getting more of kind of an evaluation, and Weather Service, if they have to go out, they'll look at swaths and see if there were straight line winds or tornadic winds and how long and how strong they were. But, you know, to kind of wrap up just a little bit, the worst of it North Shore into Mississippi. So North Shore, you're good to go to bed. You're fine. No issue there. South Shore, we're beginning to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, the river parishes, you're probably about 20 minutes away and you'll be pretty much done. A little bit more on the bayou parishes, but as of right now, I just don't see any hints of any tornado warnings on the South Shore. So not to say that we can't happen, this red box, again, it's a tornado watch. This is through 2 o'clock in the morning. However, if sometimes things settle down, we expire these early. So that could certainly happen as well.
Bruce?
Yeah. Amber, go ahead.
There is some rotation near the Waveland area.
Okay.
I'm just going to turn on the velocity to see if we can see. It looks like
toward Lakeshore,
kind of towards Lakeshore,
west of Waveland, yeah.
That is a little more concerning for them. So if you're in Lakeshore or Waveland, I would get to your safe space just in case. Because
Bay St. Louis as well.
Sometimes these really spin up quickly before they can get the warnings out.
Yeah, and this is all moving in this direction pretty quickly. So even in Bay St. Louis, love going to Bay St. Louis. You guys are great. Love the area here. We don't want any issues or damage, but we are seeing the potential from the Weather Service, too, indicated by their radar and ours, that we may be seeing some type of rotation. So if you live around Lakeshore, Waveland, and Bay St. Louis, here's the bay of Bay St. Louis, that this is kind of moving eastward. Going to move pretty quickly as well. So let's hope to get in and out of this thing. But as of right now, it looks like this will move on by, and hopefully we don't have any major issues. Now, Jennifer Crockett, she has been live with our storm tracker. And Jennifer, you're out of the car. Looks kind of a mess behind you. What do you got?
Yes, Bruce, I want to show you here on Crapazano Road. This is in Western Hammond. This is some of the worst tree damage that we have seen so far. And this is what I was talking about earlier about the trees that were blocking the roadway. We have Derek out here with the city, or actually the parish Department of Public Works. This is just one of the spots that he's monitoring. You can see just the power of those winds brought a couple of trees down here. My partner Jason Vowell and I are going to walk around, and this is the kind of thing you really just cannot see when you're driving around. It looks like the area does have some power, so this line of power here may have gone to another side, but just look as you look up, you can just see the branches clipped clear off. They are shredded and knocked down. They took the power line with them. And again, we have the Department of Public Works here for Tangipahoa Parish helping to direct traffic, because that, of course, is the next emergency. We see so often in severe weather, you get through the event all right, and then something happens afterward. We've been all through Tangipahoa Parish, all the way up to Roseland. Amite in Independence, we saw a lot of rain coming down there, and now here in Hammond. We also ventured into Livingston Parish and Albany and Holden. Didn't really see any damage here, but this is kind of the story of the night. These downed trees blocking roadways, grabbing the power lines and ripping them out, and that's what the parish is working to clear tonight. That's their goal, to get these roadways clear, and then they'll come in tomorrow, and of course the power companies will be here to try to get power back up and going. That's the latest here in Western Hammond. I'm Jennifer Crockett. Back to you.
Oh, I think John had a question for Jennifer. Can we get Jennifer back real quick? Just let us know if we can, but go ahead, John.
So, well, I think she's there. Jennifer, Bruce would tell you that if the trees fall in one direction one way and another direction another way, that's a pretty good indication of a tornado. If they all fall in one direction, the straight line wins. As you've driven around tonight, what have you seen?
John, that's actually something that we've been looking at, and it's really primarily coming from one way. It looks more like a straight line wind situation than any kind of rotation. That's what we saw firsthand in Independence whenever the lines of sheets of rain were coming down, and then whenever we moved up after the storms had passed through the Amite area and Raceland area and over in Fluker, we really saw the damage or the debris on the road limited to one lane. And that kind of shows us that it was that, as you were describing, the trees falling down just in one direction rather than spinning and kicking up debris all across the road.
And Jennifer, the sheriff was telling us earlier that, the good news is there's no road in Tangipahoa Parish that is totally impassable because of downed trees, down power lines. But,
right.
It's a little bit tricky then, because then you've got folks out there who think, oh, I can get by that situation. I can still make it out on the roadways. But he's urging people, please don't do that, because like you just pointed out, you could have down power lines that you don't see.
Absolutely. There is an update there, Meg. We do have the Department of Public Works in most of these locations now. I have confirmed with someone here with a flashlight. If you turn around right now, Jason, there's a car that's passing through right now, and they're helping to keep people out of the dangerous part of the roadway because it does creep up on you. You really cannot see it if you're just driving around, and it's even harder to see the black power lines where those are falling down in the road. So earlier, that was a serious concern. We saw that one accident with the pickup truck, and the sheriff's office couldn't confirm if that truck was knocked over from the storm or if it was in some kind of an accident. I will tell you that it looked like there was debris on both sides of the road there, a little bit of a fence down too, so maybe some fishtailing or maybe directly from the storm. But we do have crews on most of the scenes now, in Tangipahoa at least, helping to direct traffic and keep people on the safe side of the road.
Well, I mean, in a general sense, how widespread would you say the damage is? Mostly trees, fortunately, but for what, how many miles or what kind of swath, if you will?
It really came in spurts. So for example, whenever we were up by Roseland, between Roseland, Fluker, Amite, there was about a 3 to 5 mile stretch of Highway 51 over there where you could see intermittent debris on the road, maybe a fence a little bit knocked down, where we saw that most extensive damage, that pickup truck that was turned over on its side. But it was very intermittent. I didn't see anything of a something like back in 2021 out in the Chalmette area or Araby or anything like that, or even what we had up in New Orleans East out by Michoud several years ago. So nothing widespread like that. It really did look intermittent, and these are also very rural areas. So that's twofold. Whenever the lights go out on the few houses that are there along the highway, you really can't see anything. So maybe there is some other damage further back from the road, but it also looks like it primarily hit in the forested areas where there aren't a lot of people who live there.
All right, Jennifer Crockett, thank you so much for that live report tonight from Hammond. We appreciate it. All right, Bruce, so, we've been talking about just maybe another couple of hours for folks on the South Shore dealing